the transliteration of that word in Deuteronomy 28, that the blessings of the Lord will overtake you, it literally means as one who comes up on you, almost grabbing you by the down. And in the transliteration of that word in Deuteronomy 28, that the blessings of the Lord will overtake you, it literally means as one who comes up on you, almost grabbing you by the collar and saying, wait a minute, you were moving too fast. Come back here and let me bless you in the city, bless you in the field, bless your basket, bless your storehouse, bless everything that you put your hand to. That's true prosperity. So the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man. And he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper, there it is again, in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him. And he made him overseer of his house, and all that he had put into his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. The Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. How is it possible pagan people are blessed when somebody who has the favor on them shows up? By default, they got blessed. If you're at work right now and you're listening, you want to just reach over and touch the desk of somebody near you and just say, you got favor because I'm sitting next to you. Hey, Gloria Ba. And because of Joseph's sake, the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught what he had. He didn't even know how much money he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person, but look at the last three words. It is from those three words I want to minister to you for the next 15 minutes. And well favored. God, I feel the easiness of the Holy Ghost here right now. And well favored. Well favored. Grace in our life means God's blessings in spite of our own unworthiness. And there have been a few times in my life, many actually, when I've said, God, I don't deserve. And I used to pray that prayer quite a lot. God, I would like if you would do this. I would be so grateful if you would do this. And I know I don't deserve it. I catch myself now these days, and I don't say it like that anymore since I've had this revelation. If it was about deserving, none of us would ever have a right to ask for anything. But grace is God's blessings in spite of how unworthy you or I may have been, because the Spirit of God that is in us that makes us worthy of His grace. But favor is different than grace. Many people confuse favor with grace. Favor is the tangible evidence that a person has the approval of the Lord. I don't want you to misconstrue this as I come out of the gate here this morning. Grace, if you will, is almost an event-based product. Grace is a blessing. It is wonderful. It is a periodic event, something because of grace that shows up. You get all green lights on your way to work, no red lights. Grace, it is a periodic thing. But favor is different than a blessing. A blessing shows up periodically. Woo! Where'd that come from? Wow, that seemed out of nowhere. A blessing is wonderful when it shows up every now and again, periodically. But favor is different than a blessing. Many people go through life just asking God, I need a blessing. I need a blessing on my job. I need a blessing in my marriage. I need a blessing with my children. I need a blessing in my finances. And a blessing is fine. It will show up and deliver you. But when you walk in favor, favor is not an event. Favor is a position. Oh God, I'm trying to be a little slow coming through here so you don't miss this. A blessing may show up on a Monday when you need it, right on time. But favor is something that is a position you walk in. A few years ago, Bishop McClendon, you and I sat in London, England, as Pastor Chris was preaching and teaching. Pastor Osa, you were there. Pastor Chris was preaching in London, England, and we were there for a huge event. He said something that I never shall forget. He said, I'm almost afraid to ask the Lord for anything because I know if I even say it out of my mouth, it's going to come. I never plead. I never heard that kind of preaching before. I'm a church kid, but I never heard that because I'm used to saying, Lord, I need a blessing. I need a blessing. God, bless me. Bless me. Enlarge my territory. God, I need you to bless me. I need you to bless me. And Pastor Chris, I had never seen it presented like that before. He said, I don't do it. Before it comes out of my mouth, I make sure that I really need it because if I say it, it's going to come to pass because favor is a position, not a one-time event. Did you catch that? A blessing is a Tuesday event. A blessing is a Sunday night event. But favor is when you wake up in the morning and you put your shoes on and you walk out the door and favor is tracking you. Favor is behind you. Favor is calling your name. Favor shows up wherever you are. You don't even have to think about it, ask about it. It's already opening doors. It's already manifesting because favor is not an event. It is a position. Don't just seek for a blessing. A blessing is fine, but get in the place where your life is in a position of favor. When you get in a position of favor, you will find that you're not every day saying, God, I beg you, I plead with. And I've heard believers do this. I grew up in a denomination that bless their heart, I love them to life. But we did a lot of begging with the Lord. Oh, God! And we called it travailing. Oh, God, I beg you. I will not beg the Lord anymore because I've now learned that we are His children and it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. So we approach Him as Abba, Father. I walk in favor. Fuel prices in Chicago